Welcome to another Construction and Trades virtual series. Today, we're going to be interviewing the laborers. Interestingly enough, there are two different locals that you can apply to in Northwest Indiana. There's Local 41, which is basically West Lake County, and then there's Local 81, which covers parts of Lake County, parts of Porter County, and I think they even go into Newton, Jasper, LaPorte County. So, but we'll kind of get into that during the program. So let me just tell you a little bit about my background. Again, like I said, my name is Kevin. I'm with the Construction Advancement Foundation of Northwest Indiana. We're a union contractor trade association. We have over 500 contractor members that are all local right here in Northwest Indiana. Part of what we do is workforce development, and that's why we're doing this today, as part of a workforce development initiative to try to get students interested in joining the construction trades. My guests today are going to be Stephen Smith. Steve is a assistant apprenticeship coordinator with the Indiana Laborers. And then we're also going to be joined by an apprentice who's out of Local 81. His name is Givoni Murillo. So we'll be asking him a couple questions as well. So if you have any questions throughout the program, go ahead and just type it in your chat box. And I will keep an eye on that chat box feature and monitor those questions, and I will be happy to ask them of our guests. So I guess let's just get down to it right away. And Steve, thanks for joining us today.
Not a problem. Great to be here.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got interested in the laborers, or how you joined the trade?
Yeah, got in back when I was 18 years old in the sheet metal union, actually. So I started out and started working there, and started noticing that being in the sheet metal union, I wasn't working as much as some of the laborers I've seen in different jobs. Learned these laborers be on the job a little bit sooner than I would, a little bit longer than I would. Got talking to some of them, see what all they actually do and how many hours a year they work. So I made the switch over to the laborers union after about 3.5 years in the sheet metal union. Went through their apprenticeship program, got the apprenticeship program done in about 19 months, 20 months, somewhere around there. It was a little bit less than 2 years, which is pretty fast. Because they say our program is right at 3 years to get through it. And ran some work out there in the field as a laborer. I've done asphalt work, concrete work, layout work, pipe laying work, a little bit of everything that we do is what I'm trying to get myself into, because I like doing different things. That's probably the reason that the laborers appealed to me, is they do over 400 job tests at any given time. So you could always go out there and you can always find something that interests you, or something that is different, instead of getting bored with doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that's what kind of compelled me to do stuff like that. And then about 17 years ago, they came to me out in the field and asked me to become an instructor, because our northern training site needed a pipe laying guy and a layout guy. So I come up here 17 years ago, started teaching the classes, started teaching the apprentices and everything, and journey workers as well. So we got journey worker upgrade too, how to do certain things. And then about 3.5 years ago, our program started soaring through the roof. We went from about 600 apprentices. Now we're at 1,600 apprentices, and they needed another apprenticeship coordinator to help out with the day-to-day actions of making sure that we get these guys and ladies through this program. Because that's another stigma that is kind of wild about the trades. A lot of people think it's a male-dominated trade. Laborers, we are really good about trying to get our diversity in there. We actually have 24% female ratio in there. So with that right there, we're trying to get all these people in there and get them through everything. And how I came about the position was when they came up with 1,600 apprentices, the Jerry Brewer, the apprenticeship coordinator down in Bedford, could not man the whole state of Indiana. With 11 locals in the state of Indiana, he couldn't be all over Indiana in one day's time. So we kind of split the workload up a little bit.
Well, you mentioned a couple things in your overview right there that I kind of want to maybe touch on a little bit. The one thing you mentioned is, the women in construction, and, I could verify that, I've worked some time at Superior Construction prior to joining the CAF, and I would say of all the trades that employed, they all employ women, but I think the laborers had by far the most of any of the trades that I've seen out in the field. And that's a good thing, and we need to see more of that. But another thing that you mentioned is, just the scope of your work and all the things that you do. When I was on the bridge job, there was laborers laying underground pipe. There was laborers, helping the cement finishers, to vibrate the concrete. And they just had all kinds of duties. Can you talk a little bit about, some of the duties that you guys do? I know it's pretty vast, but can you just kind of maybe go through a list of some of the type of work that you do?
Yeah, like for example, building trades jobs. Whenever a contractor wants something done, laborers are the first ones out there. As soon as they stick a shovel in the ground or a piece of machine in the ground, laborers are there from that time until the time they give that job to the person when they have it finished. Okay, so we're out there digging the ditches. We're out there getting concrete areas ready to pour. We're out there. We're giving all the carpenters all their materials, giving all the iron workers their materials. We are out there cleaning the whole area up. We're making sure the area stays clean and stays safe all the time. Basically, on any job, actually, the guys and ladies you see out there walking around and carrying the majority of the stuff out there on the job site, that's going to be a laborer on building trades. One's packing stuff back and forth, building certain things. We also have a highway division. On the highway division, it's the same thing. We're the first ones there, the last ones to leave again. We're out there when they're getting the dirt down where they want the road to go, to putting the rock down, to compaction of the rock, to putting the asphalt down, running the screws on the back of that asphalt machine. The guys and ladies holding stop slow paddles. That is our work as well. And we also have a division out there that is environmental. We have an environmental abatement program. We are the only, I believe we're the only ones in the state that actually do environmental. We do asbestos removal, hazardous waste removal, mold removal. If it's an environmental program, we are the ones that do that right there as well.
Yeah, and I know you were pretty instrumental on a lot of our bridge work when we were demoing it. A lot of demo work. I know we're the laborers as well. So
yes,
it's just amazing that you're right. Every aspect of the job, there's always laborers involved, and there's a lot of work out there. So I see why you made the trade the switch from the sheet metal workers to the laborers, because it seems like there's work everywhere for the laborers. So thanks for that little background. Now I want to switch directions a little bit, talk about your apprenticeship program. Can you talk a little bit about the details of the apprenticeship program? How long is the program? How is it structured? And is it structured differently for, different locals, or is it all kind of all under one umbrella statewide? Can you, just kind of touch a little bit on that, apprenticeship program?
Yeah, it's pretty close to the same throughout the state. Local 8141 do have one stipulation on the class they want to see being taken that most other locals kind of just let them take it if they want to, which is the hoisting and rigging class. Which that class right there, if you're going to be out there in the field, it's a good class to have, because OSHA states if you don't have that card, you can't work around a crane. So 8141 is just trying to make sure that all their men and women have that card in their pocket, so they have no problems in that direction right there. But our program, for the basic most part of it, is 11 weeks of training. 432 hours of training, which basically breaks down into 11 weeks. All right. These right here, you're supposed to come once every 3 months to get it finished. And you should be able to get it finished in less than 3 years, because it's 432 classroom hours and 4,000 hours of on-the-job training. All right. With the classroom hours, we pick, or the training fund and the locals pick 6 weeks. The apprentice gets to pick 5. With 8141, they pick 7 weeks, they get to pick 4. The classes they have to take is a 2-week general construction class, which now we have busted into 2 separate weeks instead of it being back-to-back weeks. Now they can come and take it one month and then come back a couple months later and take the other one. And in no order, if you take 2 then 1 or 1 then 2, it doesn't matter that direction. You have to take a print reading class. You have to take a math class, an OSHA 10 class that's got the Flagger certification in there, silica awareness in there, and you have to take an environmental class, which is asbestos or ICRA, or go down to Bedford and take the hazardous waste class, which that hazardous waste class, if you go down to Bedford and take it, that class right there is technically good throughout the United States and Canada and probably and Puerto Rico as well. So we cover a wide variety with that class right there. And then our elective classes we have out there, a little bit of everything. Like I said, with 400 different job tasks out there in the field, you got pipeline class, you got concrete classes, you got scaffolding classes. You've got a little bit of everything that you could take out there, decorative concrete, an intro to pipe, whatever kind of work area you want to go into. Because some laborers want out there and be nothing but highway workers. So they'll try to base theirs on going down to Bedford and taking the asphalt class, learn how to run that screw on the back of the machine, which is how you make the thickness of the asphalt. To some of them want to go out there and all they want to do is build scaffolding all the time. So they come in, they take a scaffolding class that we offer, and that gives them certs for 5 different scaffolding out on a job site.
So when I just have a follow-up question. When you say 11 weeks is that the entire program or is that 11 weeks a year?
11, that's the entire program.
Okay. So it's a total of 11 weeks of classroom instruction is kind of.
At least. I mean, training's always going to be there. Like I said, journeymen can come back anytime they want to. And the more training you have, the more valuable you are to your employer and to your local. Because people just ain't going to call and say, hey, a person is breathing. They call and say, hey, I need a person that has this certification. And the more certifications you have in your pocket, the more money you can go out there and earn for your family. And
absolutely. I mean, you can never have too much education. So when I hear somebody say that they're a 3rd-year labor apprentice, I mean, how does that work? Do you take like 2 weeks a year or 3 weeks a year, and then you move on to a 2nd year, or how do you progress from like year 1 to year 2? Because I know with every year you progress, there's also a pay increase. Or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. I hate hearing the term year, more like stage. So it might not, it might not take a year. Like I said, you could possibly get this done in 2 years.
Okay, I got you.
It could stretch out to 5 years if that's how you want to go about things. That you shouldn't take 5 years, but it could. How our stages actually work is every 3 weeks and 1,000 hours of work out in the field, you get a raise. Okay. With that right there, you go from our pay structure goes from 75% when you first start out, and that's with 0 classes and no hours in the field. Once you get 3 weeks of training in and 1,000 hours of work in, and you're less than 20 hours out of compliance with the Department of Labor on your classes, then you get your raise from 75 to 85%. Then you go for the next 1,000 hours, and you should get another 3 weeks of training in, and you go from 85 to 90%. Then you go for another 3 weeks of training and another 1,000 hours, you go from 90 to 95. And each one of these raises are pretty good chunks. I mean, the last 2 weeks and the last 1,000 hours, you go from 95 to a journeyman, which is 100%. The first wage increase from 75 to 85% for 81-41 area is close to $3 an hour. So it's not like it's a little chump change, 25 cents. You're going from 75 to 85% of the journey worker rate, which on building and trades is almost $40 an hour. It's like 38, 39 bucks an hour as a journeyman plus the benefits.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't understand the value of those benefits. And especially for younger folks out there who are listening, I mean, usually when you're young, you're not really thinking about your health. But I mean, some of the benefits that not only the laborers, but other trades offer are, some of the best benefits I mean, it covers health, covers eye, dental, and medical expenses are, can get expensive. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other benefits besides health and welfare? I mean, I know you have a retirement plan, and are there any annuities that are also being offered? Can you talk a little bit about, some of your fringe benefit packages, perks that you get by being with the laborers?
Yeah, well, that right there, the benefit package, like you stated, health insurance. Once you get 600 hours in the laborers, you have health insurance. And how that right there works out is if you're single, it's $600 up front whenever you go to the doctor, with a maximum, or sorry, $300 up front when you go to the doctor for a single person, and $3,000 max out of pocket for the year. Okay, if you're you can have 20 kids, it don't matter. It's $606,000, $600 up front, 6,000 tops. And how 6,000 works is, and 3,000 is, once you hit that deductible of $300 or $600 for your family, that means they're going to pay 75% of your doctor bill, and you're going to pay 25% of it until the rest of your deductibles met. Okay, and our year starts in November. Our insurance is very, very affordable. I mean, like I said, it comes out of the contractor's pocket. Usually with a healthy person, it goes to the doctor's 12 times a year. You might look at spending maybe $100 out of pocket, $150 out of pocket just to go to the doctor all year. The other thing we also have, excuse me, as a laborer, we have a live health online app. So let's say you have allergies, you've got poison ivy, you got strep throat. Instead of going to the doctor and spending $100 there, you can actually go on this app, and it's totally free. So you don't have to pay nothing except for your medicine when you go to CVS and pick it up. And it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and have a scratchy throat and call this number and talk to a doctor right then and there and be taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned some of those benefits, and they are good. I got union benefits through my job, and I could honestly say I've had jobs before. And when you said it comes out of the contractor's pocket, what that means is there's a collective bargaining agreement between the building trades and the contractors. And yeah, I mean, the premiums are entirely paid by the contractor while you're working. And, not all jobs offer that. I mean, most jobs make you pay a portion of those premiums. And sometimes those portions could be, $200-$300 every week or every other week. So, I mean, it's a really great deal that the contractors are actually, paying the entire premium. So, I mean, it's a great benefit. And if you add that on the total wage package, it probably comes into, if you put a dollar amount on it, close to like $20 an hour.
Yes.
To your hourly rate. And that includes retirement too.
Yes.
You haven't really touched too much on. Can you talk a little bit about that retirement?
Yeah, on the retirement, 8141 is a little bit more money than what we are up here, and I was trying to get some information on that there a little better, but I did not get that. But on that right there, for example, like our retirement plan for the rest of the state, let's say you work 2,000 hours, and 8141 is pretty close to us. It's a little bit more money, but you work 2,000 hours. That's $200. That's $200 for that year of service. All right, per month for the rest of your life. So you take 200. Let's say you work 30 years. 30 times 200 is $6,000. That's what you're going to make when you retire after 30 years of being in the laborers. You take how many hours you work that year, knock that last digit off of there, and that gets you what your monthly allowance is on that right there, on what you make.
Are there any supplemental programs like annuities or anything like that are optional that laborers could get into to help them save even more?
We don't really have any optional stuff. We do have an annuity. All of our stuff comes straight from the contractor. And I believe the 8141 last I heard was like $2 an hour. They put into an annuity for you all. So every hour you work, they also put in $2 an hour, which a lot of times that don't sound like a whole lot until you start thinking about how
it adds up.
Work a year, times that by how many years you work. That could be a pretty hefty sum of money when you go to retire. And the annuity is, here's a lump sum of $100,000 from you working the whole time you're there, And now you also get your retirement along with that. And we try to set it up where when you retire, you're not just sitting at home going, man, I wish I had something to do. With union benefits, especially the laborers union benefits, you should be able to kind of do about whatever you want to do if you work as a young adult and work your way up through the ranks and work all the hours they want you to work. Because that's the other thing. Work the hours they want you to work to get that built up to where you can afford to retire and have a good living, because that's how your retirement's built, is by the hours you work.
Yeah, my girlfriend's brother, he just retired a few years back from the laborers, and he got out after 30 years, and I don't think you guys offer that anymore. But yeah, he's living pretty comfortably, I can tell you that. So yeah, it's a great retirement. Not only just the laborers, I think all the trades have some sort of retirement plan that allows you to retire comfortably. So
yeah,
let's switch directions a little bit here and talk a little bit about application process. Can you talk about how you go about applying for either, and I'm sure the people here in Northwest Indiana want to hear about the local opportunities, which are, Local 41 and Local 81. Can you talk a little bit about how they can find out how to apply?
Yeah, Local 41, which is in Munster, Indiana, you get on their website, which is laborslocal41, I believe, .org. You get on there and it'll give you an actual time frame when they're going to take applications. You will download that application, copy it off, and fill it out, and it has to be submitted by a certain date. And on their website, it'll tell you exactly what date it is going to be. I know this year right here, we are actually doing interviews the first week of March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I believe is what it is, off the top of my head. We're actually doing interviews, okay? With that right there, you come in there, you do an interview process. At 41, you also do a little bit of a physical type deal to see that you really want to do this. I mean, seeing some of the stuff we actually have to do. 41 has the applicants go out there and push a wheelbarrow, pick up some brick and block, roll up some hose, pick up a jackhammer, move it around and stuff like that. They do a little bit of a calisthenics test out there as well as a sit-down interview process. 81, you'll go to the website, or you can go to the local and ask them for an application, and you can fill it out whenever they are in need of another person. They call you in for an interview and go that direction. Every once in a while, they have a mass amount of applications. We'll go through them all one week time as well, like 41. And right there, you come in and it's a number program. How will you represent yourself? How will you answer these questions? How will you come in? Make your numbers higher and higher. The higher you score is how we start taking our apprentices in. The higher the number you are, and let's say we're going to take 5 people, we take the 5 highest scores, and those are our new apprentices for that year.
Is there any kind of general aptitude test or anything?
Every great once in a while, they might do a little bit of a test to see where things are, like your math skills, if you know what certain tools are, or so on and so forth, because there is some people that come to us that does not have to start out at year 1 apprentice. Let's say you've been somewhere else for 5 years helping out with houses or something. Is that right there? If you bring in your background of, here's all my W-2s, I've worked for 5 years, and I've done this right here and this right here, start you out at a 2nd-year apprentice, maybe even a 3rd-year apprentice, instead of off the bat 75% apprentice.
Okay. How about because we're talking with people in high school, is there anything that students in high school could do to prepare to make them more employable through the laborers? Is there anything that they could do, like take a buildings trades class, or are there anything that they should study while they're in high school in order to improve their chances of getting accepted into the laborers union?
Any kind math classes are always good, because we do a lot of concrete figuring, asphalt figuring, any kind of figuring you need to build, figure out how much building material you need for a certain project. Another thing is attendance, being there on time at class every day, not seeing these people that bring in their transcripts, because we bring in transcripts of your classes. And if we see that you were late 20 times in a semester, I mean, that's not showing up good for you show up for work every day. The building trades classes are also awesome. Take anything you think that can help you out with learning how to do certain jobs, because we tend all the other trades out there. So I don't care if it's even a welding class. We don't do a whole lot of welding in our local, but we are there with those guys and ladies that are welding. So you might need to know where things need to go, how things need to be able to help that person out, make sure that they are doing what they need to do and have their stuff there for them as well. Extracurricular activities, 4-H, different things around the community, volunteer work. I mean, all that stuff right there all looks awesome, because once you get into the apprenticeship program, once you get into the union, I mean, our journeymen do the same thing. If we got something going on in the community and they reach out to us and say, hey, we need help with such, our union, our laborers union will be one of the first ones to say, heck yeah, we'll get you some people out there and help out. Down where I'm from, which is Terre Haute, Indiana, and High Mara area, our little town park here in High Mara wanted to revamp their park, make it nicer for the kids. So we actually sent some of our apprentices from 204 out there and taught a class of concrete and this and that and everything else, and fixed that park up free of charge for the town to be able to help out with stuff like that. I mean, volunteer work is very big in our organization.
Yeah, and I think that's something that probably doesn't get mentioned enough. And it's not only the laborers, but I think all the trades have some sort of, volunteer program where they give back to the community, because, we understand that, the communities give so much to us. So it's always good to give back, and all the trades do that. And I know the laborers are a big part of that. So real quick, I just want to, let the audience know out there that in the chat function, we put the web address for both Local 81 and Local 41. And also on the screen, I got the We Build Northwest Indiana website. If you go under trade careers right here and you click on the laborers, there's 2 links here, and this will get you there as well. I noticed that the Local 81 link is wrong, so I'll get that fixed later today. So it'll be updated as soon as we finish this program. But one thing under trade careers is general minimum qualifications. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that with you guys. What are your general minimum qualifications? Can you apply when you're 17, or do you have to be 18 years old? Talk about the requirements of having, reliable transportation and a valid driver's license. Can you just kind of share how that's important when working in the construction trades?
Yeah, how that actually works, we do have a lot of seniors come into us for the application. As long as you're going to be 18 years old before we put you to work and have a GED or diploma, that is a big goal right there. You have to be 18 years old, have to have a high school diploma or GED. Must also possess a current driver's license, and that's a big thing right there. I mean, I know we want to go out there and we want to have fun and stuff like that, but we drive to our job sites. 41 covers 2.5 counties. I believe 81 covers 3.5 counties, and you might have to drive from one side of their area to another to go to work. So you might have to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to go to work every day, and having a responsible vehicle is going to be part of that, because that contractor, again, like I said earlier, being on time. And by being on time, that means be there and ready to work at starting time, not pulling in the job site at starting time. That means having your work boots on, having your hard hat on, and being prepared to go to work at that specific time that contractor's ready for you. All right. Must be in relatively physically good shape. I mean, even though some people see our men and ladies out there holding that stop slow paddle, thinking it's easy, try to go out there yourself and take just a broomstick and hold that on the asphalt and stand perfectly still for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. It is draining on your body.
Yeah, and it could be 100 degrees outside, or it could be like today where it's in the teens, and it has to be done. So you got to work in all kinds of weather conditions as well. So
Yeah. You also have to be drug free. At any given time, your contractor can send you whenever they want to give you a drug test. The local union sends out randoms up to twice a year to go do a drug screening. Then I believe 8141 is on a text program where they'll text you and say, "Hey, you have been chosen to go take a random drug screening," and it's right there. Our benefit package throws in when you go take a drug screening, they reimburse you for the time that you go take a drug screening. So it's not like you're just going and spending an hour at the doctor's office and being out of your own pocket. You go in there and you pee and you do a clean drug test. They send you a reimbursement check in the mail for your time going and doing that. But I mean, that right there is kind of basically the general requirements and having a good attitude, going out there and having the will to learn. All right, because you might be the best laborer out there. If you got a bad attitude, that's going to rub off on all the contractors, because the locals are there to help get you a job, but it's your responsibility to keep that job and to stay going to that job every day. Because some people get the raw idea of, oh, I'm in the union now, they're going to have my back, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Yeah, they're going to help you out, but you're also running off your own name. And if you got that name, even going around town, we talked about a minute ago about different things going on in town, doing the volunteer work and everything. If you're the type of person that goes around town and has a bad reputation in town, that contractor don't want to have that out on a job site. You've got to have a good reputation of going to work and doing what's needed to be done and not be argumentative of how things are done.
You know what, Steve, you brought up a good point there. I mean, your name goes a long way in this industry, and that the amount of work you get largely depends on, your reputation that precedes you. So, I've worked on jobs, and there's been people that they're known to have a good reputation. They're in demand by all kinds of contractors, and these contractors are willing to pay them above their scale, give them company trucks and all kinds of other perks in order to attract them. Then on the flip side, you got people who, probably don't have that great reputation, and, they'll work for a contractor will find out that they're worthless, and sooner or later, there's no more contractors to work for. So, I mean, it's all up to the individual, and, maybe, can you touch upon maybe some of the other expectations that contractors might have besides, attitude? I mean, work ethic. Are there any others?
It's one of the things. I mean, all contractors are going to want something different. All right. One of the things I hear all the time and quite a bit, and we actually came up with a good analogy for it, is, man, they call out for a one day gig all the time. Well, the thing is, when I look at that, and we've been telling our new apprentices we hire them in, that 1 day gig might be a 1 day gig. But here's the thing: do you go out there and buy a brand new truck without test driving it first? They might be test driving you, bring you out there for a day, see what kind of skills and knowledge you actually have. See if you're the type of person that can go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4 by yourself. And that 1 day gig might last you a year, might last you 30 years, depending on how well you present yourself. If you're that person that goes out there in the job site and they say, hey, clean this one room up, and you clean that one room up, and then you sit there and put your hands in your pockets and twiddle your thumbs, then they probably keep you around. But you go out there and you go, oh, well, I clean that room up. This room right here is dirty as well. Go to the next room, or start laying out rock, or helping the other person out, figuring new things out, asking your boss, hey, what else needs to be done? That's kind of a lot of the stuff they look for is that I can attitude of going from one step to another step to another step, because again, they don't hire a foreman off the bank. They don't call the local, hey, send me a new foreman. They go, hey, I got Givoni here. He's been with me for 6 months now, been doing an awesome job. Let's get him a truck and a company credit card and put him with the team and make him be that new foreman on the job site. that's what they're looking for and people coming up every day. I mean, I'm not saying if you're COVID sick to come into work and affect everybody else, but if you've got a little bit of the feel bad, your stomach hurts, whatever, that's the other thing. The laborers is a brother and sisterhood. If you come in there because you got the feel bads, you got a stomach flu, or whatever, your brother and sister's going to have your back and pick you up that day, because a week from now, it might be the other way around. You might be having to pick up one of them, one of your brothers and sisters, do the same thing for them.
You mentioned, it was kind of funny that you mentioned, like 1J jobs. I've actually seen, because like I said, I used to work for Superior and I was doing bridge jobs. I was doing this bridge job in Michigan City, and we required 18 laborers, I think we hired for the day to help us with the bridge deck pour. And we only needed them for a day to do that pour. But there was 2 people that stood out to the general superintendent on the job, and he asked them to stick around for the remainder of the job to do other kind of work. So exactly what you said, how you perform on the job, and that impression you leave upon the contractors could get you future work. So
Yeah,
glad you brought that up.
We got pipe layers out there now. They're out there laying gravity flow pipe out in the field, and they've got other contractors there watching them out their trucks and try to steal them off their contractor because they see that person is.
Yeah, they can see how productive they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me talk to our apprentice here. We have a 4th-year apprentice joining us today. His name is Givoni Murillo. Givoni, thanks for joining us. You're coming to us from Portage, Indiana, and you're local 81. Is that correct?
Yeah, I live in Portage, but I'm live from Las Vegas now. But
well, thanks for joining us live from Las Vegas. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? How old are you? Where you went to school, and basically how you got into the laborers?
well, I'm 22. I went to Portage High School, is where I graduated. I wrestled there. Then my dad's a laborer. My cousins are laborers, and I have cousins that are in other trades. But I've heard this is the best apprenticeship to be in, and from what I've seen, that's why I chose it. Like I probably worked more, made more money than my cousin's a operator and a carpenter. They don't work that often as apprentices. This is the best apprenticeship program, I think.
Yeah. You're right about the carpenters. I mean, a lot of time with the carpenters, you have to find your own work, where I think some of the other trades, they send you to different jobs. And I think that's definitely an advantage. And I think the laborers operate that way. Can you talk a little bit about the application process on how you applied and what you had to go through in order to get into the program?
Well, I applied probably 3 months before I got hired. I went in there, got an application, my references down, sent it in. They said they weren't taking apps, let it in anyways. And 3 months later, they called me and said, "Hey, we got an emergency job. Come in here, do this whole paperwork out, do an interview, see how you goes." And that was it.
And that's the rest is history, huh?
Yeah.
Now, did they put you through an interview process?
I did a little short interview.
Yeah. Who'd you have to interview with?
Corey Campbell.
Okay. So just one person?
Yeah. That's
some trades you have to go in front of like a committee of like 6 people. So it wasn't too nerve-wracking.
No, they were very nice. It was a good process.
So, and you're in your, I guess Steve would say 4th stage, but a 4th-year apprentice right now. So you're close to the end here of becoming a journeyman. Can you talk about some of the classes that you had to take while going through your apprenticeship program?
I'd probably say the biggest classes you should take is like a pipeline class is a good one. They get you 12 months of work usually. And then like just usually ones I recommend. Any safety class is always good. The class experience is pretty nice down there. You get 1 week straight through, so you don't have to come like every once a month or whatever, just 1 week. You can pile them on.
So what's your favorite aspect of being in the construction trades and in the laborers in particular?
Well, labor specifically I like because it's so many different jobs. I've done every contract, distribution, highway, and now I'm building trades. So you get to see a lot of different stuff. And I feel like if you go out there and look at different things, it makes you better at every job to see different things done. So there's so many things you can learn.
So final question for you, Givoni. What advice would you give to somebody who's in high school right now that's thinking about getting into the laborers or getting into a trade? Is there any parting advice you would like to give to them to help them be more successful?
I would say definitely get into one, but just take it seriously and just try to be safe. Stay on top of your classes and your hours and take your apprenticeship program seriously and present yourself like professional. And then contractors will like that.
Great advice, Givoni. Thanks for joining us today. I'm going to turn it back to Steve real quick. Steve,
All right.
let me just kind of go through, make sure there's no more chat questions. I don't see any. So is there any parting words that you would like to give some of the high school students as far as joining the laborers?
Probably the last thing I'd like to let them all know is if it's something, not everybody's going to go to college. And some people might even go to college and go there for a year or 2 years and decide it's not for them. And that right there, you can always come in and get you established in a career. This is not a job. This is a career. This is something you're going to come into and you can work your way up. Like I said, if you would have told me 20 some years ago, I'd be sitting where I'm at right now, I would be like, there's no way. To try to go off what Givoni said, my grandfather and my stepdad are both laborers. So my grandpa was a teamster. So the union trades have been in my blood, but it's right there. Going out there, work your way up through the ranks of the contractors. Go out there as a general laborer, work your way up to a foreman, general foreman, superintendent, or whatever the case may be. Work your way up through the local level. I mean, most of our instructors now that we have with our program here in Logansport and in Bedford are graduated apprentices. They ain't somebody, oh, we need to hire somebody. It is, hey, who came in here, who did a good job doing an apprentice, and we need them to come in. Just be out there and try different things. I mean, because like I said, not everybody is fit for going to college. Some people think it is. Some people think it's not. With our wages and our benefits, you earn money as you learn. Basically, you don't get a degree through us, but basically, by the time you become a journeyman with us, you're going to be making a good hourly wage on top of your benefits to make it to where, again, look at Givoni. He's a fourth stage apprentice, as everyone wants to say, and he is vacationing right now in Las Vegas. How many other people being 22 years old can say they can have the money to go to Vegas for an extended period of time and have a good career at it right there. But like I said, put yourself forward. Try whatever you need to try. Try those different classes. Come out there and try whatever you need to try on seeing where you fit and where you like being at.
Steve, thanks so much for joining us today. That was a lot of great information. I know there wasn't a whole lot of time to get it out there, but I think just in that short time that we did this interview, I mean, there was all kinds of great information. Also on your closing screen, we got a link for the Indiana Locals Training Fund. So you could go to that website and find out more information. I also included the link for the WeBuildNWI.com website. And the Center of Workforce Innovations, who I also want to thank for this, that's especially Aaron and Barb. They without their help, we could have never done this. But they also they run adult learning centers where students could go to brush up some of their math skills in order to get into some of these trades and pass some of those entrance exams that some of the trades offer. So we also included that link. So just once again, I want to thank you, Steve. Givoni, thank you once again for sharing your experience with the laborers. And
you're welcome.
If you have any questions, you could always contact the information on these welcome screens. So thanks once again for joining us. In the chat feature, we also put all the links for the 81, the 41, and the adult learning centers. So thanks again, and enjoy your safe and be safe out there. Thank you.
Have a good day.